And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a map you probably haven't seen in quite a while. In the top right from Team NV, it's DRG. And in the bottom left from Alpha X, it's Astrea. And we are now in the wonderful situation of being tied up 2-2 with two players that could absolutely go 1-1 and send us to an ace match. And oh, I'm getting nerd chills. This is just so exciting. And look at Astrea. He's got a little smile on his face. He knows what's up. He knows what's going on. DRG, of course, focused, concentrated, completely ready for whatever comes his way. Kind of cute. Anyway, that last series was so good. I honestly haven't got that hype in such a long time for a game like that. It has been such a long time since since I've seen just everybody performing so well on these two teams, which is insane to say because, you know, Alpha X, of course, got that first win over Team Liquid. That was massive. Team NV, you know, got the reigning champions, got their first win, but with a little bit of struggle. But now everyone coming out here and performing so well. And oh my god, Astrea, you are getting juicy on early. I love it. Again, you probably haven't seen this map in a while, and I don't actually remember the name of the map. I should remember it because this is a really old map that they brought back into the map pool, and one that I really like. And it has gold bases, and Astrea, he's getting cheeky with it. He's getting so cheeky. This is interesting, and I guess that's why you saw the smile. You see, that was Max Angel saying, "I know what I'm doing. I know I'm gonna be a little bit cheeky here, and I'm happy about it." And we'll see what DRG's response is, because DRG, he's gonna bring the Overlord over. He's gonna see there's no natural base. What does that mean? Well, see, I'm not the only one that does it. Even the WTL observers do it. They accidentally pop up the EPM tab because it's actually bound to a mouse button. On standard, for some reason, there's a mouse button that pops it up. Ha! I have been vindicated. But here we go, DRG sending out links. He's gonna start scouting across the map because obviously he knows something is up. This is not normal. Immediately gonna scout out the gold base, and he will be able to see, in fact, he will be able to see that Astrea has gone for this gold base, and oh no, poor probes. Don't worry. The Adept is here to save you. DRG now knows that Astrea is, in fact, going to be having this gold base economy, which will, significantly boost his mining. Look at that already. Mining, has more workers, of course, but already is mining 300 more minerals a minute than his opponent just off this gold base alone. It's just such a boost to your income. 75 minerals per patch. Doesn't seem like a lot when you have 12 workers mining on it at a time. That's a bit. 15 times 12. Do the quick math. I'm not going to, because I might embarrass myself if I do. Never mind. It's actually about 175 more minerals. There we go. But Stalker is being produced here for Astrea. Going to have that on the main base. Also has an Immortal being produced at the gold base. And oh my, this is a lot of links here from DRG. I think DRG is just going to try and flood the base. I don't think he even wants to let Astrea mine off this gold for too much longer, because it's 10 more lings on the way. He's just saying, yeah, no, you're not going to mine off this. Here we go. Lings committing on in. There's a shield battery here already, but Astrea, he's just going to commit onto the robo facility. Bring his units on over, and there's not much that Astrea can do here. Is the shield battery being focused down? And if that goes down now, the robo facility might fall next, but the second Immortal is going to pop out. Astrea trying his hardest to defend it, but the Lings do manage to get rid of it. Still, Astrea has a decent amount of units here to defend the Adept and the two Immortals. They tank up a lot of damage, and actually a second Adept even added on. 3 more warped in. And suddenly DRG, who wanted to try and get some damage done here with these early units, not going to be allowed to. And how is this game going to settle? DRG, is he doing a Bane bust? This is such an interesting match already. We have a gold base from Astrea. DRG is going for a Baneling bust in 2021. This is so cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. And DRG, he's going to try and scout out and see what there's the main base, because there's absolutely the viable possibility that he just brings those banelings up to the main. And he instead busts the main base instead of the gold. And he can absolutely try and do that. As here we go, Ling's just going to try and see what they can do, but there's a lot of adepts that have been warped in again. That gold base economy. Astrea, he's almost mining 1k more minerals than DRG. I don't know if DRG can actually make this bust work. I don't know if he has enough. I mean, there's so many adepts, and sure, they don't have glaives, so they don't have that attack speed, but there's just so many of them. DRG, he's going to commit on in, but already the split's coming through from Astrea. The pick up onto the adepts, he's going to ferry them on back. The banelings haven't gotten good connections just yet, trying to roll on in. It does not matter. Astrea just completely crushes this attempt from DRG. It plays the map, and that's game. I don't think DRG can come back from this. He does not have the economy. He's sitting on 23 workers, just producing lings. You see the little smirk and the shake of his head. DRG knows that Astrea has just played this map so well. And its push across the map should just kill off our NV Zerg. Alpha X now in a position where they might be able to get a 4-2 over the reigning WTL champions. These adepts can just finish the shade. There's enough of them. They do not care about your lings. They don't care about your banelings. GG, Astrea takes game 1. And what a cheeky smile there is after. He knows that he just did some real naughty play. Light Shade is Astrea's map pick, as in the top left-hand corner, it is the Alpha X Protoss, Astrea. And in the bottom right from Team NV. Oh, it was DRG. I don't know what happened there. That was like the opposite of buffering. We just went forward in time. We have traveled into the future by a measly 2 seconds or so. But we now know, in fact, before, there's a gateway and a gas on the way for Astrea. And as I said, Alpha X now in a situation where they might be able to 4-2 Team NV. This is something where I think Alpha X, if you did this, if you get off to a 2-0 start to your season, if you beat Team NV, it's such a great start for you. And man, we'll see what Dongregoo has planned. And Dongregoo, I don't know if I've ever talked about him in any videos or on a live stream here at Alpha X, but he is one of my favorite players of all time. I actually grew up watching Dongregoo. What team was he on? Was it Yo Flash Wolves? No, it wasn't Yo Flash Wolves, but in the era of Yo Flash Wolves and teams like that, DRG, that was the player that I grew up with watching when I was just watching StarCraft 2. And it's one of those crazy things growing up with a game and with StarCraft 2 esports being around for so long, is I am someone who has grown up watching some of these players. And I am now at the point where I am casting these players after they come back from their military service. It's the same thing with Classic. It's the same thing with DRG. You know, I grew up watching these guys, and I was such a big DRG fan. I was such a big DRG fan when I watched StarCraft 2 back then. It's crazy to think about it. That he was really the first player that I was really a fan of, and now I'm here casting his games after he's come back from military service. It's kind of wild to think about. And all of that is a very prolonged way of saying, listen, DRG, I hope you win this and you send us to an ace match, because all of these games have been so good. They have been so good. I mean, we started off, for me, about, almost an hour and a half ago. We started off almost an hour and a half ago watching Creator versus Classic. Which is crazy, because that match seems like it happened yesterday, because in the course of that time, the sun has started to go down. But we started off with that match. And now we are in a situation where it's Astrea versus DRG. And one thing that I do want to say after that game 1 is I do slightly worry for DRG bringing this to a game 7. Because DRG's ZVP has actually historically been his worst matchup. His ZVZ, it was okay. His ZVT was always impeccable for the longest time. But his ZVP just struggled so hard, especially in mid to late game. But that was against Korean Protoss. And the Korean to North American Protoss, the playstyles are completely different. So I would not be surprised if DRG's style of kind of, you know, Roach, Ravager, Ling Bane just swarm across the map, and just constantly be everywhere, constant pressure, does work against Astrea. Because you haven't gotten much practice against that. As a North American Protoss, of course, Astrea has gotten a lot of experience in online tournaments and internationally, but I don't know if he's really ever faced DRG's mid-game ZVP, because it is so vastly different from every other Zerg. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm very interested with how this match will end up shaping up and kind of what it will turn into. Third base is going to go down, though, for Astrea. The first 4 minutes and 30 seconds of this game going by without, I mean, much happening on either side. You just have DRG macroing up as you might expect a Zerg to. It was a 2 Oracle start for Astrea, but hasn't really been able to get anything done with them. He's been poking around, but the shadowing by DRG has been very, very good, along with the Spore Crawlers. Two workers go down. It's a decent enough pickup there for Astrea. He's at least getting damage and able to scout out and keep DRG especially across the map and know what DRG is doing. With that revelation, does manage to see that it is in fact a Roach Warren on the way with 2 more gases. So that should tip Astrea off to the fact that, all right, well, I know that DRG is going to be pushing at some point with a whole bunch of roaches. That's probably what he's going to be preparing for. Is it going to happen soon? Well, it looks like it actually. DRG immediately producing 11 roaches. And this is interesting because most Zergs, what they'll do is they'll macro up completely onto their 3 bases. They'll start maybe a 4th. And especially if they're looking to play into the mid game, they won't. But this looks like DRG is actually kind of planning to just do a Roach walk, a Queen walk with the amount of units he's producing. I don't know if it's going to be with Queens, but he's hiding away a lot of his units. He's just producing a ton of Lings and Ravagers. And oh, this is such an anti-timing for Astrea. Astrea is preparing for a push. Astrea is saying, listen, I want to get across the map and get a bit aggressive. I have Stalkers, you know. I have Zealots. I have a good amount of units. But does he expect the fact that DRG is also preparing for attack? Here we go. It's all coming on in. Force fields go down, but the Lings are getting on top of everything. A fadeaway Bile snipes a few of the sentries. And Lings are getting damage across the map. And Astrea's push gets shoved back. His third base gets gutted. More probes are going down because he pulled more into them. And Astrea, with a shake of his head, he knows that that was incredibly bad for him. And it does look like DRG is going to push across the map because he's continually producing units. It's Lings and Roaches that he's going to swarm across now. The Queens doesn't look like they're being brought. They're just going to be used for defense. But here we go. Lings, another counterattack by DRG. The whole army is there, so not really much that he can do, but if he meets up this whole army, if he brings the Queens across, he is going to do it. Oh, those Ravagers should run to the Queens. There we go. Zerglings try to dive in. They don't get any damage done. The Queen Walk is here. DRG, he's going to try and make this work, and it feels like he might just have enough too. It's a massive army supply lead here for our NV Zerg, but you have Disruptors now on the field. Zerglings. Oh, some great force fields. Gets rid of the Zerglings, but here we go. DRG, he's going to push on in Disruptor shot. We'll see how good it is. Really, you want to save those Biles just enough for when the Disruptor fires, because you, if you time it right, are able to just barely cancel the shot. As here we go, Disruption Nova goes out. It's going to get a decent shot onto all those Queens. We're trying to tank the damage. I mean, DRG, he's making this push work. I think you just focus down the third base here. I think you just have to focus the Nexus. Try and get, I mean, as much damage as you can, because Astrea looks like he has enough to defend. The push is still going on. This is such a strange timing, but Astrea, is he making the hold work? I don't know. These Queens, I don't know how they're still alive. Zergs are still, or Zerglings are still streaming across. The third base is almost gutted at this point, but I think Astrea holds just barely. DRG's diving on in. Oh, the Disruptor goes down. More shots. The pickups come through. Ravagers just seeing how much damage they can get done. And here come more units from DRG. This is completely all in. I think DRG maybe, if he snipes the third base, that's all he needs. That's when he knows he's found enough damage, is if he snipes that third base. Oh, that disruptor shot! DRG trying to split as best he can. The Stalkers, though, have been thinned out to the point that Astrea can't really hold all that well. But the third base hasn't gone down. You know, Astrea's still on 52 workers. He can just transfer probes. I don't know if this rush worked. I think Astrea held. Oh, Stalkers fighting? This is so weird. How are you supposed to play-by-play this? Tell me. Okay, it looks like the roaches will finally be cleaned up. There are more units coming across the map, but those should be rallied back and pulled back. I don't imagine DRG just keeps pushing because he has a fourth base established. He's moved workers onto it. That was the craziest 3 minutes of pushing that I've ever freaking seen. This is wild. But, I mean, you feel like DRG at least got some decent damage done. You now have Disruptor Drop moving across the map, but with that being said, it's again another bad timing here for Astrea. Has to recall on back the Disruptors and the Warp Prism. And DRG's going for take two. He says, listen, I may have taken a fourth base, but that doesn't matter. We go again. We go again, boys. And he's diving on in. He might just have enough this time. He's rebuilt. Astrea just didn't have a lot, and I guess it works out here for DRG because he's diving on top of the units. The Disruptors are going to go down. The workers are slowly going to start to fall once again. These Disruptor shots, man, are actually brutal, though. They're getting so much damage, but oh no, Astrea kills his own workers, was trying to let the probes fight, but they do end up dying. DRG going to be able to take game number 2. And as I had hoped, as I had wished for, the Nexus is being focused down. Ladies and gentlemen, with that dying, we should be headed to a game number 7, an ace match. The decider to see who will get the victory. And there we go. The last Disruptor falls. It's just an Immortal and some Stalkers left for Astrea. And as much as you want to try and hold on and micro this out, you should know as the Protoss that this game is unfortunately fairly over. Woo! As I said, I don't know if Astrea was ready for DRG's just, I'm going to constantly push and there's nothing you can do about it. I am always going to be on your side of the map. It is such a weird style of ZVP. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, just look at those resources lost. It is so insane. GG is called. DRG ties it up 1-1, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to game number 7.